This was the moment the angry youth of Old Abiram in Ghana's eastern region decided to destroy and burn down the church of Pastor Emmanuel Coffey. After they discovered the decomposed body of his wife, which had turned into a skeleton, hidden in his bedroom, the people of Old Abiram were left in shock after uncovering this morbid secret that had been hiding behind closed doors. The skeletal remains belonged to Madame Ernestina, the wife of Pastor Emmanuel Coffey, leader of the Gate of Heaven Jesus Power Ministry. To the community, he was a man of faith. To his followers, a vessel of divine power. But behind his calm and innocent aura was something darker, something no one could have imagined. For months, neighbors and church members wondered where the pastor's wife had gone. Whenever they asked, he told them she was fine, that she had traveled with him to Accra to help build a new branch of their church. He smiled when they asked, assuring them she was doing the Lord's work. But Ernestina wasn't in Accra. She was right there, in that locked room, dead. It began with an illness. Ernestina was reportedly diagnosed with a kidney condition, and her health began to deteriorate. After spending some time in the hospital, doctors advised that she be referred to a specialist hospital in the Ashanti region for treatment. But her husband, the man she trusted most, refused. He said her sickness wasn't physical. He said it was spiritual. And so, instead of medical care, he offered prayers. He told the family, "This is a test of faith." And helpless Ernestina, weak and in pain, could do little more than obey her husband's instructions. Pastor Coffey believed he could pray and use spiritual healing to cure his wife. So, she stayed home, weak, fading, and hoping for a miracle that would never come. Across many towns and cities, churches have turned faith into a marketplace of miracles, where holy water, anointed oils, and miracle stickers are sold as cures for sickness, poverty, and despair. These items are often marketed as divine solutions, promising instant healing or protection from spiritual attacks. For many desperate believers, they become the first line of defense against illness, even when medical help is just a hospital away. It's a growing trend that blurs the line between faith and exploitation, leaving countless lives caught between belief and science, hope, and harm. By early November 2024, Ernestina's body could take no more. She died quietly in her bed, the same bed she had prayed to recover in. But the pastor didn't tell anyone. When his children called to inform him, he told his children, the eldest barely 16, that their mother wasn't dead. "She's only sleeping," he said. He claimed he was performing a spiritual ritual to bring her back to life. Trusting their father, who at the time was in Accra, the children slept beside their mother's lifeless body for 3 days, waiting for her to wake up, waiting for their father's miracle. When the eldest child finally realized the truth, that her mother was never coming back and her body was beginning to decay, she tried to speak up. But her father issued a chilling warning. "If anyone speaks of your mother's death to anyone, you will die too." Out of fear, they obeyed, and the lie began. The pastor locked his wife's body in their bedroom and sealed the windows to trap the smell. Whenever relatives called to ask about Madame Ernestina, he instructed his eldest daughter to pretend to be her mother on the phone, speaking in a weak, sick voice to fool the family, especially Ernestina's mother. This deception kept suspicion away, and everyone believed she was alive, but still unwell. When Madame Ernestina's mother tried to visit, Pastor Coffey stopped her. He told her that her daughter's illness was spiritual, and that if she came to visit, both she and her daughter would die. Terrified, the old woman stayed away. For almost a year, Ernestina's body decomposed in that locked room. slowly turning to bone and dust on her mattress. But life in that house continued. Then, one afternoon, something changed. A young man from the community said something moved in his spirit. He walked to the pastor's house, drawn by a foul stench coming from inside. When he looked through the window, what he saw froze him in place. On the bed lay what appeared to be human remains, the shape of a woman reduced to a skeleton. The young man raised the alarm. Within minutes, people gathered and broke into the room. And there she was, the missing pastor's wife, still lying on the bed where she had died months earlier. Words spread like wildfire. Anger boiled over. The young men, using hammers and other tools, broke the walls of the room to see the horror for themselves. The news shook the entire community. The enraged youth stormed the pastor's church, Gate of Heaven, Jesus Power Ministry. They destroyed everything, set the building ablaze, and demanded answers. How could a man of God deny his wife medical treatment? How could he leave her body in their room for nearly a year until it turned into a skeleton? How could faith twist into something so terrifying that even his own children were forced to live a lie? As police arrived to investigate, Pastor Emmanuel Coffey was nowhere to be found. Officers say a nationwide manhunt is underway to bring him to justice. The children, survivors of an unthinkable ordeal, are now under care and protection. But for many in the community, the shock still lingers. Because this wasn't just the story of a death. It was the story of faith, warped into obsession, of belief, manipulated into blindness, and of a pastor who let his faith become the very thing that killed his wife. In a country where faith is often the final hope, this tragedy asks a haunting question. How far can faith go before it becomes something else entirely? And as old Abiram tries to heal, one thing remains certain. Behind every locked door, behind every whispered miracle, there's a story waiting to be uncovered. A story that reminds us that sometimes, even in the house of God, evil wears a collar. Should Pastor Coffey be jailed for refusing his wife medical treatment that led to her death? What about his decision to keep her dead body in their room until it turned into bones? Was he truly hoping to revive her? Or is there a darker secret behind his actions? For now, the once quiet community of Old Abiram is still struggling to overcome the shock. Many left confused about why a husband would let his wife die and deny her even the dignity of a proper burial. Do you think the pastor is innocent or hiding a dark spiritual secret? Tell us what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, African Murder O'Clock, for weekly true crime story updates.